Going on? Welcome back, everybody. It's your boy Philly, PHILLY, man. Matter of fact, shout out to the city. Now, ERROL, SPENCE, SHOWTIME, Shawn Porter, man. Hats off to Shawn Porter. Now, coming into this fight, Shawn Porter is that equalizer. We seen what he did with SPENCE. Ugas, although Ugas, in my opinion, was a more questionable victory for Shawn Porter because a lot of people believe that Ugas won that fight. And I'm gonna have to be honest and go on record and say I was one of them. I thought Ugas did enough to get the win over Shawn Porter, but Shawn Porter, A-side. I told you guys before, sometime in boxing, you get the A-side nod. Close fight, you get the nod. You know the game. Check it out. Shawn Porter retiring from the game of boxing after facing Terence Crawford is huge because coming into this fight, Shawn was competitive. According to ERROL Spence, he had Shawn up. Fight was close. If you guys go back and check out my other video, I'm gonna try to put a link in it and timestamp so you can go right back to when I said it. It was at the end of the video. I said that Bud Crawford is going to stop Shawn Porter between 8 and 10. You know what I mean? And what round did he get stopped? In the 10th round. Now, was it questionable? I really can't say it was questionable because see, when your corner say, you know what, that's it, call it RTD, TKO, whatever. But if your corner says the fight is over, then that's it. You take it out of the judge's hands, you take it out of the ref hands, you know what I mean? So if Shawn Porter has a problem going forward, just like ERROL Spence said, you shouldn't even pay your dad. And that's messed up, but at the same time, it's true. If you Shawn Porter and you feel as though that your father, at that point, he should have been your coach and allowed you to fight, then you got to take that up with him. Now people see how Deontay Wilder felt when they threw in the towel against him when he fought Tyson Fury. You know what I'm saying? See how things come back around, scenarios, they open your eyes up like, damn, that's why they, you know what I mean? But at the same time, Shawn Porter, as I said, man, he was winning rounds, especially early. Terence Crawford was winning rounds. But like I told you guys, once this fight gets to like the 5th round, Bud is gonna start feeling Shawn Porter out. You know what I mean? And these guys did trade. Once they got inside, Shawn Porter was mixing it up very well. Like I said, he caught Bud with a series of nice right hands and a couple of nice left ones. But at the same time, Bud came back and then he countered Shawn Porter, catching him lovely with the check hook. You know what I mean? Once he switched to southpaw stance, you know what I mean? And then it definitely got ugly. He was catching Shawn with some bombs. And then came, you know what I'm saying? Then came the 10th round when he got knocked down twice. And see, when you get knocked down, that's one thing. And keep in mind, Bud is the first person to do that to Shawn Porter. And he stopped him, you know what I mean? He knocked him down twice consecutively, you know what I mean? So that's saying a lot. But just like I said before, Shawn Porter possibly punched himself out because he knew the pressure. He knew he had to get his points early because going into the later rounds of the fight, that's when things, you know what I'm saying, tend to turn up, and sometimes you got to put it all on the line. And sometimes that's when things happen. So if you stack up enough points, you can kind of coast throughout the fight depending upon where you are in the fight. Now, Bud, you already know, you really can't coast with Bud. Bud is going to not only come back, but Bud is going to wind up, you know what I'm saying, finishing the fight strong. He has never finished a fight because he was out of gas. No, he knocked out his last 5 opponents. You know what I mean? So that says something about what Bud is doing in the ring. You know what I mean? And especially, he maintains his power and stamina throughout the fight. Now, you heard people talking about his legs. His legs was going. How was his legs going when he knocked Shawn Porter down in the 10th twice? Was catching him with bombs throughout the fight, especially naturally in the 10th round. So if he was gassed out, he wouldn't have enough to put on those shots to get Shawn Porter up out of there. To make his corner say, you know what, that's it. But see, when you watch, especially when you watch the first knockdown, you look at Shawn Porter's face when you looked over at his corner, looked over at the crowd. Shawn Porter was like, damn. He was like you can tell in his face, not only he was surprised, but you can also tell that he was hurt. And it was also like, he was like damn, like I just got knocked down. And he know from when he fought Spence, and when Spence caught him with that shot and his glove touched the mat, and you know that's the equivalent of a knockdown. He knew that at that point he lost the fight. Or if he did not hurt or knock out Bud Crawford, Bud was going to, you know what I'm saying, he was going to maintain his title and he was going to win the fight. He knew right at that point. And then for him to get knocked down again, Kenny Porter already knew the fight was over. So why allow your son to go out there and get the shit beat out of him? Excuse my language. You dig what I'm saying? That's the perspective that Kenny had, in my opinion. You know what I mean? He knew that at that point, especially with the 2 knockdowns and Bud coming up at the later ends of the fight, he knew that Shawn lost. So why would you allow him to go in there and get punished for 2 more rounds? Because best believe, if Bud didn't stop him in the 10th, he was going to come out from the 11th round and he was going to press and attack Shawn Porter. Better believe that. Because see, if Shawn Porter would have got the direction you have to come out and go all out because you're losing the fight after those 2 knockdowns, then that was going to cause him to make mistakes. And at that point of the fight, Bud was already picking him apart. So you can't take too many chances, because if you do take those chances, you're going to wind up not only getting stopped, but you're going to wind up getting rocked and possibly put to sleep. And I have to admit, a couple of times in the fight, Shawn Porter did land some shots, and it looked like Bud might have been rattled a little bit. But this is boxing. Everybody's going to get hit. Everybody's going to get rattled. But can you recover? And after you recover, can you still maintain and stay in the fight? Or if you're down, get back in the fight. That's what determines victories, and that's what determines champions. After the shots that Bud got caught with, he was still in the fight. He came back and he pulled a Pacquiao, and you know what? He got those shots right back off and put the points right back in his favor. That's what champions do. You can't go into a fight expecting that you're not going to get hit. Everybody, and that's why I said Floyd messed up the game, thinking, you know what I mean, everybody think, and Floyd wasn't the first one to do it. But see, the thing about Floyd is Floyd was great defensively, but offensively, especially in the later part of his career, his output wasn't like that. I ain't gonna say he was hugely terrible, because to some degree, Mayweather was accurate. You know what I mean? Always making sure that he countered. You know what I mean? Mayweather was accurate, but offensively, he was very timid. You know what I mean? Because he wanted to make sure that he didn't get caught. So he made sure that he stayed on his defense. That was his game in the later part of his career. But Shawn Porter, he's not like that. Mayweather made a statement like, you know what I mean, Bud reminds Mayweather of himself. Now, I think stylistically, I think they're different. I don't agree with that, especially because Bud switches and he doesn't work out of the shell, you know what I mean, like Floyd was always doing. That's not his general stance and how he approaches, you know what I'm saying, his opponent. So I necessarily don't agree with that. If you want to say mentally, like he's smart in this, you know what I mean, I can respect that, because Bud is very smart. And I told you guys before, with Shawn Porter's movement, we're going to have to see how Bud executes and utilizes his angles. Can he stay on that outside foot? You know what I mean? Because if you stay in the front of Shawn, that's when things might get a little bit tricky. He will come in ducking, you know what I'm saying, throwing those wild, you know what I'm saying, right and left hands. And initially, that's what Bud was getting caught with. But see, once Bud started backing off and start catching him, you know what I mean, catching him on an angle, that's when you start catching Shawn, especially with the uppercut. Because when you catch somebody on an angle like that with the uppercut, especially if you get them clean, you setting them up, depending upon this, if you're in the orthodox and you catch them with the left uppercut, you setting them up for the right cross or the overhand right. You know what I mean? So that was very dangerous, you know what I'm saying, when Porter was getting caught with those shots. But for Bud to come into that fight and then retire Shawn Porter on top of that,